At the center of it all stood one man, Deion Sanders, the legendary prime time himself. Hall of Famer, coach, icon, and most importantly, a father whose patience had reached its breaking point. Reports began surfacing that Deion had issued a direct, explosive ultimatum to Browns owner Jimmy Haslam and head coach Kevin Stefanski. The demand was simple yet seismic. Start my son, Shedeur Sanders, at quarterback against the Jets, or lose him for good. Not later, not when the time is right. Tomorrow. The message was delivered with the sharpness of a thunderclap. It wasn't a suggestion. It wasn't a plea. It was a line in the sand, and Deion dared Cleveland to cross it. According to multiple insiders with close ties to the Sanders family, this wasn't some mild parental frustration. Deion was livid, volcanic even. His fury wasn't just about a coaching decision. It was about what he viewed as manipulation, deceit, and blatant disrespect. Shedeur Sanders, the player the Browns supposedly drafted to be their future franchise quarterback, had spent the season stuck in limbo. Instead of being developed, instead of being trusted, he was watching from the sideline while veteran Dylan Gabriel continued to take the bulk of first-team reps despite underwhelming results. For the Sanders family, this wasn't just puzzling, it was insulting. As the news of Deion's ultimatum broke, the NFL world erupted. ESPN insiders confirmed whispers of the confrontation, and within hours, social media was ablaze. X, formerly known as Twitter, transformed into a digital battlefield. Hashtags like Start Shedeur and Free Shedeur exploded across the platform. Fans flooded timelines with passion, frustration, and fire. Some backed Deion completely, applauding his willingness to defend his son against what they saw as an unfair system. Others accused him of overstepping, of meddling where he shouldn't. The debate was fierce, emotional, and relentless. Behind the noise, the real tension had been building for weeks. Offensive coordinator Tommy Rees was reportedly one of Shedeur's biggest supporters within the building, pushing for the rookie to get his shot. He saw what everyone had seen in college: the arm strength, the poise, the leadership. He knew Shedeur could spark the Browns' stagnant offense. But Stefanski remained cautious, leaning on familiar excuses about system fit, playbook mastery, and developmental timelines. On paper, it sounded logical. In reality, it felt like stalling, and Deion Sanders wasn't buying a word of it. To him, it wasn't about football anymore. It was about politics, ego, and control. As one source close to primetime put it, they're playing games with that boy's career. That quote spread through sports media like wildfire, lighting up every debate show and podcast in sight. For a man like Deion Sanders, Mike, who built a career on discipline, excellence, and dominance, watching his son be sidelined under questionable circumstances was intolerable. He wasn't about to let Cleveland dictate the trajectory of Shedeur's career without accountability. The breaking point reportedly came Thursday night. Deion called Jimmy Haslam directly, bypassing the coaching staff entirely. The conversation quickly turned tense. Voices were raised. Threats were made. According to those briefed on the call, Deion made one thing crystal clear. If Shedeur wasn't under center against the Jets, the family would immediately begin exploring other options. Whether that meant demanding a trade, sitting out, or pursuing legal leverage wasn't entirely clear. But the ambiguity made it even more intimidating. It was a threat that hung in the air like a thundercloud, daring Cleveland to test its patience. Shedeur, meanwhile, maintained a careful silence. He didn't speak to reporters. He didn't make statements. But his Instagram post late Thursday night said everything that needed to be said. A picture of him in full Browns uniform, helmet tucked under one arm, eyes locked with determination. The caption was simple: ready for war. Within hours, it went viral. Hundreds of thousands of fans flooded the comments with support. They're scared of your greatness. Time to show them what Prime raised. Messages poured in from across the football world, including Hall of Famers and media personalities who backed the young quarterback publicly. Shannon Sharpe dedicated a segment of his show to defending Shedeur, calling the situation beyond disrespectful. Michael Irvin, another NFL great, called it a slap in the face to a kid who's done everything right. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't just about a quarterback competition. It was about fairness, merit, and the complex power dynamics of modern football. Inside the Browns facility, the silence was deafening. No press releases, no public response. No effort to calm the storm, and in the absence of clarity, speculation thrived. Rumors about locker room divides, coaching disagreements, and ownership frustrations spread like wildfire. Every hour that passed without an update felt like an eternity. Insiders whispered that Deion's influence, amplified by fans and media, might force Stefanski's hand. The pressure was unbearable. If he started Gabriel, he risked alienating the fan base. If he started Shedeur, it would look like he'd been strong-armed by primetime himself. But to truly understand how things reached this boiling point, you have to rewind to draft night. When Cleveland selected Shedeur Sanders, the atmosphere wasn't celebratory. It was tense, almost reluctant. Haslam himself reportedly expressed dissatisfaction with the pick, publicly stating that if someone had told him days earlier they'd draft Shedeur, he'd have said, "That's not happening." It was a stunning admission that set the tone for everything that followed. Instead of being embraced as the future, Shedeur was treated like an obligation. Training camp only made things worse. Reports emerged of Shedeur getting minimal reps, practicing with backups, and even throwing to equipment staff instead of first-team receivers. When he finally got a chance in the preseason, he shined, poised, efficient, confident. But rather than earning more trust, he mysteriously vanished from action afterward, sidelined with what the team described as a minor injury. The timing was too convenient, too suspicious. The Sanders family had seen enough. From their perspective, this wasn't just another case of a rookie waiting his turn. It was part of a pattern, a continuation of the disrespect Shedeur had faced during the draft process, where many believed his stock had been intentionally suppressed. Whether or not that's true almost doesn't matter anymore. In their eyes, Cleveland became the latest culprit in a league-wide pattern of underestimating their son. By dropping the ultimatum on a Friday night, Deion Sanders ensured maximum pressure with minimal time for response. The Browns couldn't strategize, couldn't delay, couldn't hide. Every decision from that moment forward would be made under the brightest possible spotlight. If they started Shedeur, they'd be accused of folding to external pressure. If they didn't, they risked losing him and facing a media and fan revolt unlike anything in recent franchise history. The stakes have never been higher. This isn't just a decision about who starts against the Jets. It's about the balance of power between player families and NFL organizations. About how much influence a father, even one as iconic as primetime, should have over his son's professional path. If Shedeur plays and dominates, Deion will be vindicated, and his challenge could redefine how young stars and their families assert themselves in the NFL. But if Shedeur struggles, it could backfire spectacularly, branding both father and son as volatile and unmanageable. As dawn breaks over Cleveland and game day looms, the football world holds its breath. Every eye will be locked on that first offensive snap. Who will be standing behind center, the struggling veteran or the rookie with the world watching? And beyond the field, one question lingers in the hearts of millions. Has primetime just changed the rules of the NFL forever? What do you think, football fans? Should Deion have stepped in, or did he go too far? Will Shedeur Sanders rise to the occasion and prove his father right, or will Cleveland's gamble pay off in unexpected ways? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a deep dive into the moments that define football history.